24 hours to President John Mahama's second State of the Nation's address since his return to office. We analyze the key sectors of the economy he is expected to address and hear from minority MPs who are demanding urgent solutions to what they describe as the many challenges confronting Ghanaians.
Well, you can see there are a lot of despondency among the Ghanaian people, okay? You've recently heard about the cocoa head cut, which has affected over 1 million of cocoa farmers in the country.
We'll also hear from you, the Ghanaian people, on what you expect to hear from President John Mahama tomorrow.
We are expecting an increasement concerning the cocoa issues.
Try to send your task force to the market. If they refuse to reduce prices, whip them.
Also tonight, more pressure is mounting on the ECG as PURC issues a 48-hour ultimatum directing the company to produce a communique to explain the fast depletion of consumers' prepaid meter credits.
But we've given them an ultimatum of 48 hours to come out with a communique to explain to the Ghanaian consumer what exactly the issues are and the way forward, the solutions they have for the Ghanaian consumer. But they've explained generally the issues, and they will be communicating that to the Ghanaian consumer as expected.
Also coming up tonight, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority is reviewing its decision to send staff overseas to renew licenses for Ghanaian drivers in the diaspora following public backlash on social media.
Some of you, the DVLA staff, you are traveling overseas to go and provide services in 5 countries outside. I can see what's on. I will add you, no worry. So that is the service we are going to provide.
Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Ministry is denying claims it has granted approval for staff of DVLA to travel to foreign countries to provide the services.
In business,
CD projected to be the biggest beneficiary under the new reserve accumulation program as the policy secures Parliament's approval earlier today.
Also in sports,
NSA Director General Yampof Wankra assures demonstrating staff of job security despite appointment revocation.
and a bit later, Greater Accra Regional Minister locked in a crunch meeting with stakeholders to resolve the standoff between Makola traders and the market management over what they describe as exploitative rent hikes and charges.
They are not doing anything. They are taking maintenance fee. We are paying elevator. Excuse me, we are paying elevator fee. When you came, have you seen elevator? We are paying irrigation fee. They've never sprayed here before. When it rains here, mosquitoes.
We got the latest of these and many other stories coming up in the next 60 minutes. Feel free to be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
And my name is Ofori.
Details after this.
Welcome back to Newsnight. Now, in less than 24 hours, President John Mahama will deliver his second State of the Nation address since returning to power. After 13 months in office, how has he managed the key sectors of the economy? Tonight, we analyze what Ghanaians should expect from the president across critical areas.
And elsewhere in Parliament, the minority is demanding concrete solutions to what they describe as the many pressing issues facing the Ghanaian people. But the minority insists the president must give a full account of the recent cocoa price reduction and address compliance about rapidly depleting prepaid electricity credit. We'll bring you details of the expectations shortly. But first, a presidential affairs correspondent, Makola, reports on what is likely to feature predominantly in the president's address.
In his second State of the Nation address, President John Mahama is expected to present a comprehensive overview of Ghana's progress across key sectors. On the economy, he will likely highlight macroeconomic stability, citing recent gains such as inflation lowered to 3.8%, improved currency performance, reduced public debt, and strengthened fiscal discipline, whilst also addressing the recent cocoa crisis and measures taken in infrastructure. The president is expected to emphasize the Big Push initiative, detailing ongoing road constructions designed to enhance national connectivity open rural and border trade corridors, and reduce travel times. Agriculture will feature prominently with updates on the Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda and the Nkoko Nketi initiative aimed at reducing Ghana's $300 million chicken import bill. On governance, he will likely report on anti-corruption efforts under Operation Recover All the Loot Oral, including ongoing prosecutions of culprits from high-profile scandals. In education, the address is expected to note that over 142,000 first-year tertiary students have had their fees reimbursed, with extensions for students with disabilities. Health updates will likely focus on the Mahama Cares initiative, which has disbursed approximately 2.3 billion Ghana cedis to support treatment for chronic and non-communicable diseases. On illegal mining, the president will likely discuss nationwide raids by NIMOS and allied agencies, resulting in arrest and confiscation of equipment, fuel in Galamsey. In sports, he is expected to celebrate Ghana's qualification for the World Cup and outline expectations for national participation in the tournament. President Mahama's speech tomorrow will likely focus on tangible progress across key sectors, from macroeconomic stability and fiscal discipline to infrastructure, agriculture, education, health, and anti-corruption efforts. The government's initiatives such as the no-fee stress policy, Mahama Cares, the Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda, and Operation Recover All the Loot, the renewed fight against illegal mining, will be among the prominent issues.
Well, some members of parliament from both sides of the House have also been sharing their expectations ahead of tomorrow's address.
Well, you can see there are a lot of despondency among the Ghanaian people, okay? You've recently heard about the cocoa head cut, which has affected over 1 million of cocoa farmers in the country. We are not only even talking about just the million, they have a lot of dependents, those who are students in school and all those things. These are very difficult moments for those Ghanaian farmers that they are losing money as a result of government decision to cut down the price, the producer price, okay? That is one thing. Recently, we also heard about people complaining about electricity, okay? This was a decision that was taken by government just to increase the electricity tariff by some 28%, and we are now feeling the impact of it. We should be bringing solutions as to how these matters are going to be dealt with.
It's nothing but the truth. The real state of the nation address should tell Ghanaians what it will take them to accept whatever outcomes that are ahead of us. Some of us will not like anything like flattering. Coming to court, Go So Good is an experienced member of parliament before. He has passed through all the ranks.
Because clearly when you talk about cocoa, I think that those who have followed the discussion are now fully aware that the problem was only inherited by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and the steps that he is taking are steps that will resolve the problems, not just for his regime, but for even governments that will come after him. Again, when you talk about electricity, we know the debts that they left behind in that sector, the mismanagement of even, the ESLA that was left for them to solve the problems in that sector itself became a subject of mismanagement, and they know the mess that they created. So I'm not surprised they are hoping that solutions will be featuring in President Mahama's SONA. I think that it is based on their confidence in him and the confidence of the Ghanaian people in him. Are not interested in macroeconomic figures because they know that he has already fixed that problem that they created.
And we've been hearing from you, the Ghanaian people, about what you want President Mahama to prioritize in tomorrow's State of the Nation address.
What I expect from the president first is ECG, the bill that the credit that we buy for our meters. If the meters are not good, they should order for a new meter so that they change it. And secondly, you should take a very high look at the market women. The market women, they refuse to reduce prices, whereby petrol price is down, dollar too is down. Mr. President, we will plead with you. Try to send your task force to the market. What Ronlins have done it before, we see Ronlins ashing before. If they refuse, whip them or take them so that when you charge them next time, they will be afraid to do that.
Is to intensify the fight against the Garamsey. Apart from that, I will score him 80/100. He's on course. And again, he should check some of his appointees, because a lot of them are performing, some are underperforming.
I think the president have to sit up a little bit, because they have reduced all the most of the things, but the traders especially, they are not doing their parts. They are increasing the price of their goods more. So I want the president to set up some committee to deep into those areas. I'll be very happy.
I think he should give the youth more jobs so that money will come to their hands, so that when they need something, they can buy it.
We are expecting an increasement concerning the cocoa issues. About one bag, I think at first was 3,000 something, but now it's 2,500. So we are expecting increasement.
So that's what Ghanaians on the streets of Accra are expecting. But what do experts also expect? Let's bring it on the show. Awula Sewashi is with Eco-Conscious Citizens. Also, Professor Peter Kote is an economist. And Dr. Kwame Esiedu-Sapom is with CDD Ghana. He's the Democracy and Development Fellow in Health at CDD Ghana. I want to begin with you, Awula Sewa. Welcome to the program. What are expectations ahead of tomorrow with regards particularly to Galamsey?
Thank you very much for having me. First of all, I'd like to hear that the DCE, after the Joy expose, I'd like to hear that he has been suspended, because, we face an environmental catastrophe. Ecocide is ongoing. There's a war going on. And so things that from district assemblies are actually licensing illegal miners, especially chanfans, which we know are banned because you're not supposed to be mining on our water bodies. It's really worrying. It's of great concern to Ghanaians that the DCE is still at post. We'd like to hear that NAMOS is going to be better resourced. We'd like to hear that the armed forces are going to be heading the fight against illegal mining. We want the Navy to be patrolling our water bodies so that the chanfans are removed and the waters that have been diverted, the proper thing is done. It's a shame that 1 year into this administration, we still have chanfans on our water bodies. Our waters are still being polluted. And on the roadside, you can see chanfans being repaired, even close to police stations. It's a shame that while in opposition, we were told that the very past administration, that the president was the head of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and that if he wanted to, he could end Galamsey in a very short while. Now we're being told that it's a marathon and not a sprint. Be that as it may, we know that we face an existential threat. Ghanaians are being poisoned. Confanoche Hospital has told us that the number of kidney-related diseases has gone up 4 times. So we cannot afford to dilly-dally. We really have to come down boldly on illegal mining and make sure that we arrest all appointees, every single person, no respect of persons who is complicit or involved in illegal mining. We want to hear that there are going to be key performance indicators so that in any area where there's illegal mining, the DCEs and the police command will be held accountable, and they need to tell us why they cannot hold the Galamsey. Because we know that in Jema, for instance, thanks to the chief and Father JB, there's no illegal mining. We need to hear from them. We want to hear tomorrow that the activists in Atronsu, who were actively fighting the illegal mining claim we want to fight, who were trying to protect the Atronsu stream, the only source of drinking water in the area, and who are being prosecuted. We want to hear that the charges have been dropped. And we want to hear that the killers of Piles in cancer in Zema East have been apprehended. And we want to hear also that our water is now going to be tested and the results will be made public. Just as a while back, the Volta River, the level used to be made public. We want to know that our waters are going to be tested for mercury, cyanide, and arsenic, and that the results will be made public. We want to hear that there's something actually going to be done about the situation we find ourselves in, because we're on the verge of an ecological catastrophe, and we don't think enough is being done. And lastly, we want to hear that the Forestry Commission is going to be given paramilitary status so that they will be well equipped, have bulletproof vests, whatever they need, to fight the illegal miners in the forest and forest reserves, so that NAMOS and the army can focus on the water bodies and illegal mining in communities.
Right. Awolasewa, thank you very much for your time this evening. She's with Eco-Conscious Citizens Ghana. Pearl?
And we also have via Zoom Dr. Kwame Sapon. He's the Democracy and Development Fellow in Health at CDD Ghana. We'll come to you shortly. But let's go to Professor Peter Kote. He's an economist. Good evening. Thank you for your time here on Newsnight. Let me start by asking you, generally, are you satisfied with the government handling of the economy so far?
Yes, I am to a very large extent, because you can see relative stability, macro stability, prices have been stable. So that is good. But as we stabilize, I think we need to move beyond stabilization and accelerate whatever we're doing. We need to accelerate to promote growth. There are a lot of jobless young people that we are churning out of our universities every day. We need to provide them jobs. There are many out there in the system who can't find jobs. And I think that desperation is increasing on a daily basis. So it's good to have stability. You need to stabilize before you can take off. So I want to see in the President's State of the Nation address transformation policies that will bring jobs, policies that will ensure that the young people in this country find jobs. Then you move to the sectors, agriculture, for instance. It's long overdue for us to have irrigated agriculture. I mean, the thought of losing Ghanaians in Burkina Faso because we don't have food self-sufficiency. We have to be importing rice. We have to be importing tomato. We virtually import everything. Poultry, we import them. So I want to see in the State of the Nation address pragmatic steps, not promises, but steps that we are going to assess to ensure that we are able to transform this economy to have full self-sufficiency.
Professor Peter Kote, Kenneth here. Of course, you've mentioned that the economy is looking good, but critics have said that this economy is looking like a wind-chill economy where it looks very good on paper, but in reality, it's biting hard, especially against the ordinary Ghanaian. What should the president do so that the economy that is looking good on paper translates into the livelihoods and the pockets of the ordinary citizen?
Well, that's the basic point, that yes, we need transformation, so we need to move beyond the stability, macro stability, price stability, to providing jobs. It is when you provide jobs, it is when you grow the economy that people will feel it in their pockets. At the moment, yes, we are seeing some decline in prices of certain items. We've seen the rate of increase in the prices of certain items reducing. However, we need to move beyond that. We need to add value to our product. We need to grow the economy. This is the only way people can really feel the change in their pocket. So, not working our agricultural system in the way we used to do, with business as usual, where it's basic hoe and cutlass, where we don't add value, where we don't do mechanization. I think we should move beyond that. It sometimes saddens me if you take our budget statements from the past decade or two. You find a lot of wish list on things we are going to do in agriculture. You find a lot of tractors. We are going to do this. We are going to buy fertilizer. A lot of these things are there. So how come we are not able to transform agriculture? I think it's about time we move beyond these promises and bring real transformation. That is the only way people can see we actually feel it in their pocket.
Right. Professor Peter Kote, thank you very much. He's an economist with the University of Ghana. Let's bring in now Dr. Kwame Sapon. He's a Democracy and Development Fellow in Health at CDD Ghana. Grateful for your time this evening. A lot has happened in the health sector. Even in the past few days, we've heard of the no-bed syndrome, no hospitals, inadequate hospital facilities to accommodate sick persons and all that. With the State of the Nation address just barely 24 hours away, what would you expect President John Mahama to touch on when it comes to health?
Thank you, Kenneth, and good evening. Well, the point, like you rightly said, a lot has happened in health. So the first thing is I'd want him to acknowledge the current status of our health system, but then go back to his own manifesto, or the NDC manifesto, and accept that there's a lot in that manifesto, if when implemented, would have prevented some of these things from happening. What do I mean by that? I mean, a good health system is always known to be one that keeps the general population as healthy as possible for as long as possible. So then there are not too many of them going into accident and emergency and into secondary and tertiary care. If that happens, then the pressures on our beds would also decrease. So I'd expect him to give us a clear timeline, for example, of when the free primary healthcare policy is being implemented. What are the long-term actions of something like the Ghana Medical Trust Fund in ensuring that some of the pressures can be taken off our health system? And more importantly, tell us how our health facilities are going to be retooled. Because, for want of a word, we've not retooled since 2014. And all the diagnosis of the problems in our health system, even before this low birth syndrome and a baby was stolen, XYZ, pointed to the fact that the basic thing we needed was a retooled health system, which has never happened. So I want to hear that those things are going to happen. It's time that we work with the recommendations from policy documents that the government commissions to understand our health system. And for me, that's what I'm looking for.
Grateful for your time this evening, Dr. Kwame Siedu Sapon. He's a Democracy and Development Fellow in Health at CDD Ghana. Pel?
Well, Parliament has approved the government accelerated external reserve accumulation policy aimed at strengthening the country's buffers against economic shocks. The policy, which seeks to build substantial foreign reserves and mop up excess liquidity, has been welcomed by the majority as a bold step toward macroeconomic stability. But the minority has raised strong objections, warning that the government target to purchase 127 tons of gold annually could fuel illegal mining activities widely known as galamsey. Former Finance Minister Dr. Muhammad Amin Adam cautioned that the initiative risks incentivizing unregulated gold production and could worsen environmental destruction if not carefully managed.
The report indicates that under this program, the government would target to buy 127 tons of gold annually from small-scale miners. That is worrying for me because even at lower volumes, they couldn't achieve their target from traceable gold. They had to resort to buying gold from galamsey operators. And this, His Excellency the President Mahama, alluded to this. And so with the level of volumes they are talking about, 127 tons annually from small-scale miners, I am afraid our environment is in danger. The lives of Ghanaians are in danger because this government, as they have done before last year, will resort to buying these volumes of gold from galamsey operators.
The Deputy Minority Whip, Richard Champon, has been responding to the minority's concerns. He says the fears are unfounded.
They are saying because of the gold board that we put in place, galamsey activities will increase. Whether we have gold board or not, people will still do galamsey. So let's try a lasting solution to deal with the galamsey menace. That's another matter. So gold board is giving us the positive result. Let's all embrace it, support the finance minister, so by the end of the day, Ghana will develop any shock, we can sustain it. We'll go run to IMF every time to borrow money and pay interest.
Right. Still in Parliament, though, the minority have also indicated why they supported this policy and voted to approve it.
When we met the Finance Ministry, the Bank of Ghana and the Gold Board, we put a question to the governor who was represented by the second deputy governor. Is the policy to buy gold, to shore up our reserves, be it in bullion or in forex, new? And her answer was categorical. She said, no. We on this side will support this policy because what they have done is to continue what was introduced by Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. Yeah. You don't need to go on with this thing where every time settings. Admit it that this is a program you inherited and you are continuing. Mr. Speaker.
Well, that's Kujo Oponin Nkrumah. He's the ranking member on the Economy and Development Committee in Parliament.
Now, away from that, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has instructed the Electricity Company of Ghana to, within 48 hours, issue a communique explaining the persistent complaints from consumers over the rapid depletion of prepaid meter credits. This directive follows growing public frustration, with many customers questioning billing accuracy and transparency in the distribution system. Now, at a meeting convened by the PURC today, its Executive Secretary, Dr. Shafiq Suleimana, said the ECG has been advised on corrective measures to restore confidence. Before we listen to the PURC, here are some frustrated customers. My colleague Ramad Bashir engaged earlier today.
Many electricity users say their prepaid credit is finishing faster than they expected. Some claim the same amount they used to rely on for months and sometimes weeks now last only a few days. We are here at Malata Market to ask some Ghanaians their experiences and how this is affecting their lives. Hello, sir. You're welcome to join me. What's your experience?
Oh, my experience, if you buy the 100 series, just 3 days or 4 days finish. It's like Osembo, shoo, if you put inside, shoo, it go.
How much do you used to buy before and how long does it take you?
The first I used to buy 50 series, I go fit take 2 weeks before the credit finish. But this time I buy 100 series, 3 days, 4 days, it finish.
And now looking at your business, how is it affecting your business?
The business affect the business. Go ahead with the meat finish, it's not finished, you go put inside the fridge. If you free the light, if the light go off, the meat oil go spoil.
As he has said, it's the same business that we are doing. Now the light is costing too much. We don't know whether they have increased. I heard that they have increased the light bill, the price of the light bill. If you buy it at first, in this room, when we buy 200 Ghana cedis, it will take us maybe 1 week or 8 days or 10 days. But now, 200 Ghana cedis, it won't reach 1 week. Then the credit will finish. So it costs us a lot.
Because as first we used to buy maybe 5,000. It will take us months. But now, 2 weeks, we need to buy 4,000. We will buy 5,000 for months. But now, every 2 weeks, 4,000.
Oh, so see the difference. Because pa na besan say, the kind of me 100 cedis. It's me the 8 days. If you cry 11 days, cry to me back. Recently, every 3 days, beer me like 100 cedis. Every 3 days, beer.
So she is saying that before she used to purchase 100 cedis of prepaid credit and it can take her more than a week. But now every 3 days she needs to buy electricity. The same amount she used to rely on for a week now takes her just 3 days.
So those were some frustrated Ghanaians sharing the experience with the prepaid meters. We can now listen to the Executive Secretary of the PURC, Shafiq Suleimana, who spoke at a crunch meeting today.
Many electricity.
Well, unfortunately, we cannot bring you that sound. Let's engage my colleague Stephen Mensah. He was at that meeting and joins us in the studio with further details on today's meeting that was called by the PURC. So the Commission has been responding to the challenges we've been seeing in the past few days. What assurances were given at today's meeting?
The Commission says that these challenges being experienced, they are highly optimistic the challenges will be resolved, given that the rollout of the 24-hour economy. We will listen to Dr. Shafiq Suleiman, who says that they will hold ECG accountable for any disruptions. He, however, gives a timeline as to when the issue will be resolved first. He indicates that the ECG will have to lay bare the challenges and reasons behind the fast depletion of the prepaid meter credits. They've also been explaining whether or not the affected customers will receive a refund and what will be done to the ECG should they fail to meet the 48-hour deadline.
We are working hand in hand with the minister. I mean, 7 days we are still working within that remit of 7 days. But then with our engagement with ECG, they can do it in 48 hours. So as I said, the 48 hours is a communique that they are putting across to all Ghanaian consumers, indicating within that communique their remedies, the steps they are taking to resolve the problem. It will all be part of ECG's communication. Whatever they will be communicating will contain whether there will be, whether or not there will be any compensation for anyone will be contained within the communique.
And Stephen, who else was at that meeting?
Well, present at the meeting will be executives of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, also representatives from the Electricity Company of Ghana, and a presidential staff, Ananaya Jantwa, who is also an external communications officer for the PURC, was also present. Also present will be the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapito. Okay. We engaged him and he has been explaining, he agrees with the challenges in the sector. We can listen to him.
If you are losing your money, it is very, very a challenging thing, especially this challenging times that we are all going through. So, to me, PURC as a regulator, their mandate is to make sure that the utilities stays viable, and the other side is to make sure that the consumers also get fair pricing and uninterrupted supply of electricity. We all should work together. This is Ghana. At the end of the day, they are there to make sure. My only problem is sometimes it looks like until we cry louder before they will do something. But at least this time they responded on a very fast track time. So let's see what happens. There's going to be issues anyway. Issues are not going to go away. So, but we should find a way to make sure that we minimize the issues. That is what it is.
Well, Collins, Stephen Amensa was at that meeting and he joined us with briefings from there. Thank you so much for that update. We've been joined via telephone by the ranking member on the Energy Committee, Collins Adomako. Good evening and thank you for your time here on Newsnight. First of all, what do you make of the concerns of consumers regarding the fast depletion of the prepaid meter credit? Also, we had the Energy Ministry talk to us yesterday and say that they had given the ECG 7 days to investigate what the problem is and present a report. And today we are hearing from the PURC given 48 hours to the ECG.
Well, it's a very disturbing situation. And I'm a consumer myself. Just about last week, I bought 1,000 Ghana cedi worth of credit. When I returned from the constituency, I have just about 200 cedis left. And so it's a situation that is quite devastating. You can imagine what is happening to other businesses. Barbers, hairdressers, seamstresses, those who use electricity on a daily basis. The effect of it is quite devastating. Of course, I realized the minister summoned an emergency meeting and requested a probe into the issue, and that is what has led to PURC having a meeting with ECG. For me, PURC's action is quite late because the complaint started about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And as a regulator, I was expecting them to have acted, even without the minister's instructions. But I don't know why they waited all this while and now giving 48 ultimatum to ECG. But be that as may, we thank them for taking action, although I think it's quite late.
Now, Collins, moving forward, does your side have plans to invite the sector minister to give you an update on this issue?
Well, informally, we've been speaking to ourselves. I spoke to the minister, the deputy minister, myself, to get a first-hand information. But I get the feeling from my chairman of the Energy Committee, that next week we intend to bring in PURC, who is the regulator, to give us a brief on what is going on, and then also invite ECG to give us some technical explanation as to what is going on.
Collins Adomako, ranking member on Parliament's Energy Committee. It's always good to have you on the program.
You're still listening to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM and our various affiliates across the country. You can be a part of the show. Share your experience with us. What are you expecting from the President on the State of the Nation address tomorrow? Are you experiencing a quick depletion of your power when you buy electricity? The numbers are 055 1111 997 Let's hear from you. It's now time for business, and George Riafe is here with the latest. George, what have you got for us?
Ken, coming up in business, City projected to be the biggest beneficiary under the new reserve accumulation program, targeting more than 15 months of import cover by 2028 as the policy secures Parliament's approval today. And President John Mahama expected to be heavy on the economy in the second State of the Nation address to Parliament tomorrow. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, Centers Tanks, and Pepsodent, Herbal, and Charcoal. You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the city could be one of the biggest beneficiary when it comes to the proposed reserve accumulation program. There is more in the following Business Text report.
Based on the proposals captured in the reserve accumulation program, the city will not have to wait until the end of 2028 before it starts feeling the impact in terms of the expected dividend. This is because government is looking at increasing the country's import cover to more than 6 months by the close of this year, targeting 11.8 months in 2027 and more than 15 months in 2028. Based on this development, it looks like if government is able to hit this target this year, this would come with some benefits for the city. This is because it could give some assurance to investors that the Bank of Ghana is in a strong position to support the cedi during demand pressures. Some market analysts have argued that a lot of the cedi's depreciation was fueled by sentiments. So, if there is some assurance that things are going to improve, then we are assured of some long-term stability.
And that is the Business Desk report. Meanwhile, economist Professor Peter Kote has described the reserve accumulation program as prudent for Ghana's economy during these times. He's, however, worried about some threats as well as sustainability concerns.
Commodity prices in general suffer volatility, and therefore gold price has continues to surge and not be forever, and that threat will be there. The geopolitical tensions that are happening currently is working in our favor to some extent, but should it change, should people drift towards holding more US dollars or any other hard currency and less of gold, that can create a challenge for us. But having said that, I think we need to add value to the gold, process more gold. We also have to be cautious not to encourage illegal small-scale mining. If we are talking about artisanal mining, then let's promote legal mining and less of illegal mining. Otherwise, if we become so fixated on getting more gold and we allow the illegal miners to infiltrate and encourage them to do more and destroy our environment, that will not augur well.
And that is economist Professor Peter Kote. Now, President John Mahama is expected to be heavy on the economy when he presents the State of the Nation address to Parliament tomorrow. The address will present the President an opportunity to update Ghanaians on where he took the economy like a year ago and how things are now. The President would also give some assurance on how he plans to maintain the current stability. He will also use the address to highlight the role of the current Finance Minister, Dr. Ofori, when it comes to his contribution to the current stability of the economy. Meanwhile, Greater Accra Regional President, Association of Ghana Industries, John Mahama, wants some details on how government plans to maintain the current stability.
See a more stabilized inflation rate, a more reduced interest rates, a fairly stabilized currency exchange rate, and so on. So we are really keen to see his position on how he intends to continue to create sustainability for all of these macroeconomic gains. There's an issue about the big push. We are interested in hearing from the President his real vision for the road sector, especially, and the big push program. You know, roads have direct impact on industry. Most of our goods and services we produce have to be taken to the market centers and so on. So we want to hear his state of
the nation address.
The nation address on the roads and so on. Then it's also important to talk about the main issue of the 24-hour economy. So the law has been passed. We are happy about that.
And that is the Greater Accra Regional President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Chonam Akpelu. The government has announced plans to collaborate with Jehok Distilleries to restructure the company's financial position and strengthen its operations. According to the Trade and Industry Minister, Elizabeth Ofori, the partnership will focus on improving the financial stability of the company. She made this announcement during the ceremony to commission new vehicles to support the company's operational activities.
Like several state enterprises, Jehok has over the years faced structural challenges, including inadequate working capital, aging infrastructure, and constrained distribution capacity. Addressing these constraints is consistent with government reset agenda, which prioritizes the revival of productive capacity in the public sector as a catalyst for broader economic growth. Government will work in collaboration with the board and management of Jehok to address the company's structural financial liabilities, review its operating model for long-term viability, and explore opportunities to expand its production capacity under the 24-hour economy.
And that is Elizabeth Ofori. She is the Minister for Trade and Industry. Now, eSolutions Consulting is urging organizations to adopt a gradual path to cloud transformation as it rolls out its Smart Workplace program on the Microsoft Workplace. Speaking to Joy Business Chief Technology Officer at eSolutions Consulting, Olayewala Alan says that the firm's policy is driven by a security architecture that enables businesses to manage the workloads across different sectors.
As an organization, we're not biased to cloud. There are requirements in governments that sometimes require that the data should sit on-premise. So we approach both the same way. Whether you want your information to sit in the cloud completely or you want to run a hybrid infrastructure, we're fine with either. Microsoft actually recommends that you don't rush and just migrate everything to the cloud, but you transition it over time. With Azure Arc, we're comfortable running Azure Arc on on-premise infrastructure or cloud infrastructure. And I think over time, companies themselves will decide what they want to stay in the cloud and what they want to stay on-premise.
And that is Olayewala Allen. He is the Chief Technology Officer at eSolutions Consulting. And on the PM Express Business Edition tonight, we are engaging one person who's been a campaigner in recent times in ensuring that the country gets the best out of its minerals and mining agreement. And that is the former Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Sofa Akufu, on PM Express Business Edition at 9 p.m. tonight as you look at Ghana's minerals and mining agreements. The time for a comprehensive review or not. So she is my guest tonight on PM Express Business Edition at 9 p.m. as we engage the former Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Sofa Akufu at 9 p.m. on Joy News and all the social media platforms.
And George Yafi will be watching and listening.
Thank you.
It's now time for sports, and Benaya Dafiamako is here. He's smiling. I don't know why he's smiling. What do you have for us tonight?
Yeah, I was telling Kenneth that Madrid are going to draw Manchester City tomorrow at the Champions League.
Are the two of you going to start it again?
16 draw, because they always seem to meet Man City. It's supposed to be Man City or Sporting, but everyone is saying Madrid will draw City. Even the Madrid players themselves are saying it because they know it's going to happen. Anyway, the Director General of the National Sports Authority, Yam Pofwakra, has assured demonstrating staff of job security despite appointment revocation. Now, staff of the NEC staged a protest at the authority's headquarters earlier today over directives seeking to revoke their appointments. Now, the affected officers, who are part of 17 recruits whose employment is under review, expressed frustration after the NEC board questioned their recruitment process. Now, following the tension, Director General Yam Pofwakra assured the staff that they would be reinstated once financial clearance is secured.
Stadium, you cannot even play football. Yes. Security was a problem. Yes. You are Ghanaians. Yes. Even if we put politics aside, you guys came when we were down. Yes. We cannot abandon you. Yes, sir. But there's miscommunication. There's a little bit of mischief on some people putting wrong information out there. Yes, so please, don't fall for that trap. If there's any issue, you read online, social media, just come and ask. Okay. You understand? Yes, I beg you. We are one family, we are together. Ignore all the social media negativities. Nobody here is going to lose their job once I am here. I will protect you. Ghana is also with us. Yes, you understand? Thank you, sir.
So that's Yam Pofwakra there reassuring the staff members. Okay, so that's it for sports. Over to you, Kenneth.
Well, thank you very much, Benaya, for that update in sports. You're still listening to News 9 here on Joy 99.7 FM. In other stories this evening, voices of some frustrated traders who took to the streets today to protest what they describe as exploitative rent demands. Well, the traders who have occupied the Senate-owned property for over 30 years are protesting a 20% VAT fee and significant rent increases, claiming it is unsustainable for their businesses. Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu is currently locked in a crunch meeting with stakeholders to resolve the standoff. The aggrieved traders are calling on government to urgently intervene, warning that the situation is threatening their livelihoods. Take a listen.
I'm telling you, most of the shops are closed now. Some of them are from Kasua. They will take 2 cars to come here. And some even borrow money to go back. Because when they come, they don't sell. The market is good. If it's ongoing and we are selling, we would pay. But it is dying. And we are telling them this year we can't. So they should, it is killing us. This year, at least they should let this year go. Maybe from next year, if things improve, we would pay. And they are telling us, come what? They are increasing. Government has brought VAT, so they are not doing anything. They are taking maintenance fee. We are paying elevator fee. When you came, have you seen elevator? We are paying irrigation fee. They've never sprayed here before. When it rains here, mosquitoes. And the agreement, water. Excuse me, toilet. We use the toilet, we pay. We use the bathrooms, we pay. Water, we pay.
You would have witnessed it for yourself. The market is totally closed. Everything is down. When you wake up in the morning and you come to the market, you can equally count the people who are passing through the market. I'm telling you, it is that bad. And this is our investment. We depend on this market to survive. We have family who depend on us. We have children we are taking care of.
And let's go on the phone lines now and speak with the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu. Thank you for your time here on Newsnight. You've heard the concerns of the traders there. Moving forward, what specific actions will your outfit take? Madam Oklu, please, can you hear me? Well, unfortunately, we don't have the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu. We'll try and reach her when we can.
Right, and in other stories this evening, domestic tourism is increasingly being recognized as one of the strongest drivers of local economic growth. Beyond leisure and relaxation, every trip taken within Ghana contributes to employment creation and supports businesses along the tourism value chain. As part of our special Ghana Month series leading into the Joy Safari Experience 2026, my colleague Noella Karen Yale highlights how a single journey can impact hundreds of livelihoods.
A weekend trip often begins simply. A packed bag, a full tank, and the decision to get away. But long before travelers arrive at their destination, an economic journey has already begun. The receptionist preparing a room, the chef sourcing vegetables from a nearby farmer, the driver transporting guests, and a tour guide mapping out the day's adventure. Across Ghana's growing tourism industry, thousands of livelihoods depend on one decision, the decision to travel locally. From food suppliers and artisans to cleaners, entertainers, and transport operators, domestic tourism keeps money circulating within communities, sustaining businesses far beyond resort walls. Industry observers note that when Ghanaians explore destinations within their own country, tourism transforms from recreation into economic participation. And this philosophy sits at the heart of Joy 99.7 FM's Ghana Month initiative, the Joy Safari Experience 2026. Scheduled for March 20 to 21 at the Safari Valley Resort in Eastern Region, The experience brings together adventure, leisure, and intentional local tourism, demonstrating how travel can simultaneously inspire rest and stimulate economic activity. Because sometimes a simple getaway does more than refresh the traveler. It sustains an entire ecosystem of work. For Joy News, Noella Karinyale.
Well, that's it for Newsnight. But before we go, here are a few of your messages you've been sending to us on our WhatsApp platform. This one says, please, Reverend Intim Fojo must stick to the pulpit. He gets too many issues wrong. Our Navy is doing a good job. Is it the Deputy Defense Minister? Is he not able to do the job as the Minister? That is Nana from Spintex. Sherry Giovanni says, I expect the President tomorrow to tell us about his efforts so far to stop Galamsey activities as he promised during his campaigns, the outcomes of the investigation into his party officials who were caught engaged in Galamsey activities. And Jake Lai from Ajen Kotoku says, this government has done well in almost all sectors. The economy is doing well. Education, healthcare, roads are all seeing appreciable growth. Nana Komia Boatin from Ablekuma Central says ECG prepaid meter is running like Usain Bolt. But the men in power are giving us 7 days for grammar. We got pretty much a lot of your messages here, but because of time, we can't read all of them for you. Thank you very much for being a part of the show tonight. I'm Kenneth. Gyasi.
I am Ofori.
Have a good evening.